Marvel fans, we have some crazy news today because we might be getting a third Avengers movie after Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Plus, we have a new update about a fourth Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie straight from Sam Raimi himself, and Marvel is finally making a movie we've all been asking for years. Let's talk about it all. Starting with the new report that, yes, Marvel is apparently finally making a Scarlet Witch movie or TV show that is going to be happening during the mutant saga of the MCU after Secret Wars. This is coming from Daniel RPK, who is hit or miss, but he is pretty right when it comes to Marvel a lot of times. This sounds like great news on the surface, but I'm a little worried about it because of it being set in the mutant saga. Because in case you're unaware, after Secret Wars, we're going to be starting the mutant saga of the MCU, which is going to give us an entire X-Men reboot, new actors playing characters like Cyclops and Jean Grey. Does that mean we're going to get a Scarlet Witch project, but with a new actress instead of Elizabeth Olsen? Now, I don't think that's very likely. I think the only reason we are finally getting a Scarlet Witch project is because Elizabeth Olsen has such an insanely large fan base as this character in the MCU, and since she already existed in the MCU, they can easily explain her still being around while we have a bunch of other new X-Men. But it's something to keep in mind, and it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic between her and the X-Men, and especially people like Magneto if they're changing up the lore from the comics a whole lot. Let's move into some crazy news though, because Marvel Studios, yes, is reportedly considering making Avengers Secret Wars a two-part film. This has been coming out from multiple different insiders today, and honestly, this would be absolutely insane if it happens. Now, like I said, this initial report is coming from multiple different insiders. This follow-up report is coming from Daniel RPK, and he says that Marvel Studios is reportedly going to decide whether to split Avengers Secret Wars into two parts based on the success of Avengers Doomsday, which I think simply means if Avengers Doomsday makes like $2.5 billion, they're going to be like, yeah, a lot of our movies have been flopping recently. Make Secret Wars a two-parter. We got to milk the Avengers movies for all they are worth. Now, the biggest complication with this is simply the fact that Avengers Secret Wars is set to start filming around July of this year, which is a full 6 months before Avengers Doomsday comes out in theaters. So I think they're going to have to make that decision a little bit earlier because obviously they have to know how much to film. Honestly, there's a couple reasons I'm really hoping Marvel does split Avengers Secret Wars into two different movies. First of all, we have so many characters in these films to deal with, and I know they handled it well in Infinity War, but then in Endgame, they simply just erased literally half the cast and only focused in on mostly the six main Avengers and a few other outsiders. Avengers Secret Wars is going to have the complete opposite problem because the Avengers Doomsday cast is already comically large of just the people confirmed to be in this film, and we know there's likely going to be at least 10 to 15 other big names in this. We can assume people like Star-Lord, Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and a bunch of others are still going to be in Avengers Doomsday, and then probably even more characters in Avengers Secret Wars from who knows how many Marvel universes. Obviously, it's not like they have to give every single character in these movies a major arc and a ton of screen time. That's not how these Avengers films really function now that they have all these characters in them. But having an entire extra movie that gives you 2.5 to 3 extra hours to spend with all these characters, make